I'm worried about you. Now, I don't bring this up very often, and I have a few times, but I know if I pound you over the head with it, it could fracture our relationship, and I don't want that to happen. But uh, you weighed in this morning, and you sent me the picture, 354 pounds, and you've been in 340 to 350 range for a few years. You're pushing 50 years of age, and I've known you for 30 years plus, and I want to know you for another 30 years plus. So I'm just very concerned that as you get into your 50s, usually for people in the 350-pound range, in the 50s, between 50 and 60, something major is going to happen, and it could be fatal. Every time I brought this up in the past, you've acknowledged it, but you didn't really comment on it. You just kind of, because you know that it's true, just like I do. But the reality of it, if you really internalize it, would compel you to do something different. And at the times when I brought it up, you weren't ready to change. Obviously, you're here now. You're willing to make a brand new start. That's the whole reason why you're here. You want some form of accountability, and you got potentially the world that could watch you on YouTube. So you come to me, we have a conversation, everybody can see it. It's going to be week to week. You're going to be here providing updates to me. And if you need anything in the interim, you can come back to me, and we'll have chats if anything goes awry in between the time that we normally meet. But just the fact that you're here shows me that something's different. But we never really had a conversation about the mortality aspect of it, of weight loss. And you've got a family, and we have a deep friendship, like I say, for over 30 years, and I care about you very much. Honestly, I want you to live into your 70s and into your 80s, and so do I. And I want us to be around to enjoy each other's company. But even more importantly than that, I want you to be there for your kids. So I just want to know, what are your feelings going into this when it comes to your commitment? Because, we can yo-yo back and forth. We can drop a few pounds, drop 20 pounds, drop 50 pounds, drop 100 pounds. The goal is to drop 100 plus pounds for sure. That's why we're here. But you could gain it all back. So what's different about your frame of mind now versus all of the other times that you've tried to lose weight? I mean, just give me a little bit of insight into what you're thinking and how you're feeling going into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's, when you mention mortality, that's definitely something I don't think of frequently. My mentality is more of a live in the moment mentality. And so as I've struggled with my mental health over the last few years, more than ever, that has probably never been more the case. Like, I've been just living in the moment and just trying to, get through day by day. And so just, just living for the moment. If I'm under stress or if things aren't going well, the simple pleasure, just to grab a bite to eat or whatever, comforting, that's what I reach for. That's what I gravitate to. And that's kind of how I've gotten myself here. You've helped me in the past lose 20 pounds here or there, lose more than that, and I put it back on because of those reasons, where I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. But the up and down has, eventually led me to where, you saw me today. I'm at my all-time high of my life. And so, but like mentally, I'm in as good a shape as I've been in years, same time right now. So it's time, it's now or never. I've got to make the change. I know this. But even there, like you hit home more than I normally would think. When you bring up mortality and my family, I don't even get to that place on a regular basis. When I'm motivated and I have the drive, we've had some talks here recently that you led me to a place of mental health that I haven't been in a long time, where I'm equipped. I feel like I'm equipped to actually attack this, but I'm not, I'm still not even framing it in that mortality mode, feeling like I'm where you probably are right. Like, really, like, it's the next 5 to 10 years, it's do or die. So, I don't think that way yet. But if you keep talking that way, you're you're right on. Like, I probably need to hear that. So I'm more thinking just like I want to live a quality life. I just want to live a quality life. I want to be able to be more active and feel less taxed. I want to have a quality of life. I just lost my mother recently. And so, you know, at the end of her life, felt like her quality of life was not where I was satisfied, and it hurt me to watch. And I don't want my kids to see that from me. I don't want to see that for anybody. And I don't want to see that happen to me, obviously. So, like, I'm just, I guess, more aware of those things than I, have been, or more conscious of that than I have been for most of my life. And so that, combined with my emotional capacity to do this and just focus, is I'm ready. I'm ready to do something. It's daunting when I think about how much, because I've let it get this far out of control. It's not like, I'm 250 and I'm trying to get down to 230. This is a big project right here, man. This is work. To imagine getting myself from 355 to 250. This is a lot. So, but if I think if we attack it the right way and break it into chunks, I believe with your help, I really believe I can get there. I don't think everybody else is going to get me there. So that's why I'm coming back to you, man. But, yeah, it has to happen. I have to do it, and I have to do it while I'm in the right frame of mind, and I'm here. You got me here. So, yeah.
I love everything you said, brother. And what stands out to me is that on the hierarchy of reasons to lose weight, of course, number one is so that you're around. If you're not around, then nothing else matters. But number two, and I would almost say a close number two, is quality of life. And a lot of people don't think about that. As they get older, they slow down. I mean, if they're carrying excess weight, their body deteriorates faster. So by the time, if they do make it to their 60s, if they're lucky enough not to pass away early, and they do make it into their 60s, usually they're very immobile, and it just gets worse and worse as the years go by. And then at some point, long-term care becomes a necessity because you can no longer take care of yourself. And it's a bad place to be, especially since for the majority of people, it's preventable. So I'm really glad you brought that up and that it's on your mind, because I think that's a great motivating factor to make this happen. Of course, the prime motivation for most people, including myself, is to look as good as you possibly can. And I know that fuels you to some extent, just wanting to get the weight off so you can feel good about yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if I look at it this way, I pursued bodybuilding because I wanted to gain confidence. When I was younger, I was skinny, and then I went through an overweight stage as well. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum and gained weight, lost weight. But my whole goal for starting bodybuilding and fitness was I wanted to look better because I was getting pushed around in high school. And I felt like if I looked tougher, people would leave me alone and I'd get some respect. So that was the fuel going in, was to look as good as I possibly could. Now it became a lifestyle for me. I've been lifting weights and eating healthy since I was 16 years of age. Now I'm 51. So throughout that entire time, my fuel was to feel better about myself. But look what it led to. It led to me being able to live a healthy lifestyle throughout that entire period, which is good. Obviously, you can get carried away and become very, very egotistical and vain do things that are actually unhealthy in order to look a certain way. But thankfully, I never followed that path with drug use and, really extreme diets and things of that nature. So um, that just that desire to improve my own self-esteem actually led me to being able to live a healthy lifestyle. So it's perfectly fine to have that as a driving force, and I think we all do. I think that's the reason 99% of the people start a diet is they want to feel better about themselves, and I can guarantee you it works. It does help. It helps a lot, especially if you're overweight. I mean, underweight it helps too, but when you're overweight, you carry around, and I've been there. There's a lot of emotional baggage you can carry around that a lot of times you end up repressing it. You don't really deal with it. Um, but it's there. Self-esteem benefits from looking your best. And when you're not looking your best, you feel as if you're not doing all that you can in life. So it absolutely it fuels not only just the way you feel when you're around other people, but it actually motivates you to do other positive things with your life in so many other areas. I can just tell you from firsthand experience, it helped me start my business. It just gave me a lot of confidence in being able to push forward with all my goals outside of bodybuilding. So it's so helpful. It really is. So that being the fuel behind it is perfectly fine, because ultimately, along with that, you're going to get the benefits of number one and number two, which is potentially a long life and good quality of life. So um, there's a multitude of ways to lose weight. I mean, I can take you down 500 different paths. And I like designing programs based on what the individual is going to do, because that's the only weight loss plan that's going to work. I could tell you to do something, you could begrudgingly accept it, but know going in that it's going to be extremely difficult for you to adhere to. And all of a sudden, at that point in time, you fail right from the beginning, because even if you do follow it for a short period of time, you're going to end up falling off the wagon, and you're going to go right back to what you were doing before. So I want to come up with something that you can actually follow. We can go extreme. You want to lose the weight as fast as we can. If you're motivated to do that, we can, and we can adjust based on how you feel. We can go more moderate. How do you feel right now as far as what direction you want to go in? Do you want to go for maximum as fast as we can get it off? Do you want to go for something that's slower but maybe easier for you to follow? What's your frame of mind? Because that's what's going to guide me in being able to tell you exactly what I think you should do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll say I'm really not happy with where the scale's at right now. I don't want to see the 350s ever again. I need to get out of the 350s fast. So, and for good. So, I guess my initial thought is I do want to get to something sustainable, but right now I want something fast. For the short term, I want something fast.
All right.
To get me out of the 350s and probably out of the 340 for good. Like now.
Be careful what you wish for, because I'll provide it to you,
okay.
and then you're going to have to follow it.
All right.
But I just want to, yes, I could put the pressure on you and say that you have to do what I'm about to tell you to do, and you have to do it perfectly. But if you run into any issues, we can pivot. And this is the importance of being able to meet every single week, is that we can make adjustments if necessary based on how you feel, based on how the prior week went. Even in the middle of the week, if something happens, you can let me know, and we can make adjustments. We can shoot a video if you have something to talk about. So I just want to make sure that you understand that you're not beholden to doing exactly what we talk about at any given moment. I just want us to talk about any changes before they happen.
Cool.
And if we do that, then we can't fail. We absolutely cannot fail, because we want to stay on top of this each and every week. And we're going to make sure that you stay accountable. You're accountable to me. You're accountable to everybody who's watching. You're accountable to yourself now, because you have to show up. You have to be here. You know that I'm going to contact you, and you know that you have to be here every single week. This is something that you committed to. And I know when you make a commitment, you want to hold firm. So I would say, if you want to achieve weight loss as fast as you possibly can, I would go for, if you can, if this is, you tell me, you give me feedback after I tell you exactly what I would like for you to do. Would like you to try to get 40 grams of protein a meal. Okay. And it can come 40 grams of protein from whatever sources that you want of protein every meal. And I would like for you, how many meals per day can you eat reasonably?
Like full meals, or are you talking like snacks included with a meal, or what are you thinking?
Every time you eat, I want protein to be part of that meal. So, however many protein meals that you can consume, I don't want you to have a meal without protein.
Okay. I mean, right now in my work schedule, 3 is the most.
3?
3 is the most.
Can you handle 3?
Yeah.
3. Okay. So 3 meals, 40 grams of protein, little, I would like more, but I'd like 40, you're not used to eating protein, large amounts of protein at one sitting. Is that right? Except like it was a giant steak or something that you'd be having at Outback Steakhouse.
I can handle that.
So 40, so we say 40 grams of protein 3 times a day. With that protein, I want you to have a limited amount of carbohydrates and limit yourself to no more than 50 grams a day. You can spread them out however you want, but I don't want you to exceed 50 grams of carbs. And I want you to make up the rest of your calories with fat. And preferably, I mean, for me, I use extra virgin olive oil for much of my fat intake because it's just healthy and I do enjoy it. So it's a good combination for me. But because what we're trying to do is get the weight off of you, I really don't care what the fat source is right now. I just want you to choose whatever foods you feel that you'll be able to stick to. But they're going to be low carb because you can't exceed that 50 grams of carbs. So if you do have a meal that's high carb, you're going to get to that 50 grams immediately. So you want to make sure that you either spread that out or that you just, if you want to keep carbs lower, much lower than 50, you can, and you can just focus on protein and fat. But what happens in the body when you limit carbs and you focus on protein and fat is that you don't have those insulin spikes. And I bet every meal you've consumed for the past 20 years has been filled with massive, massive insulin peaks that, I mean, probably violate medical science, just with how high they've been, because you've just been consuming such a large amount of food and the wrong kind of food filled with carbohydrates and fat. That combination is just the worst when it comes to packing on body fat or somebody who wants to lose body fat. So you limit the carbs, you limit the insulin. And by doing that, your body's not going to burn fat in the presence of insulin. When insulin's high, it's not going to be tapping into your stored body fat. That's not going to happen. But once insulin is low and carbs are low, your body's going to have to find, well, where's this energy going to come from? It's going to have to come from stored body fat and the fat that you consume in your meals. So you're going to end up losing weight quickly on this plan if you're able to stick to it. And that 50 gram limit is what I'm proposing to you now. You know yourself better than anybody. I'm a close second, but you're still able to give me the feedback based on your experience. Do you think that's something that's realistic for you?
It's worth trying. You've put me on more restriction than that before in a previous life. And so for short periods of time, I was able to do something more restrictive. So I'm definitely open to shooting for that. I like the challenge.
Okay.
That's definitely more restrictive than I have.
50, so no more than 50 grams.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
More restrictive than I have been in a long time. So it's a good challenge for sure. But I am up for giving it a go for sure.
That's fantastic. Okay. So the rules are 40 grams of protein a meal, no more than 50 grams of carbs a day. The rest of your intake is going to come from fat. We can go into the calorie count. I don't want to get into the minutia of how much you're going to consume yet. If you focus on just these rules, chances are you're going to end up because you're 354 pounds. Okay, we don't need to get too meticulous until you're well under 300 pounds. So I really think that just keeping the carbs low, I don't really need you to be tracking calories at this point in time, how much fat grams you're consuming. I just want you to keep the carbs at 50 grams or less, preferably less, but I'm giving you the 50 as a maximum. And then protein. And what protein does, one, it has so many positive qualities of to the body in terms of the way that, I mean, you're not bodybuilding, you're not weightlifting at this point in time, but still, just muscle preservation, recovery, cell regeneration. Protein is so important, and it's used in the body for so many crucial activities everywhere. So getting that protein in is important for overall health, but it also helps to curb your appetite, as does the fat. Carbs stimulate your appetite. So you end up consuming carbs, you end up hungry 2 hours later. So, and it just encourages you to eat more. You'll find that when you keep protein high and you balance that out with fat, that your cravings are going to be subdued as you start following this diet. Maybe not initially. You're going to feel hungry in the first few days for sure, maybe first week or two, just because your body is asking you, begging you. It's down on its knees asking you, please give me some carbs. What have you done to me? What's your problem, man? I've had carbs for the past 30 plus years, and all of a sudden they're missing. And it's just, that's where the hunger comes from. The hunger is like, come on now, please, like feed me. I want to go back to what I'm used to. But if you override that and you continue on this plan, your body has to find another way. Like it has to find something else to in order to burn for energy, and it's going to end up burning that 354 pounds. And that's what we're looking. That's exactly what we're looking for, and that's the reason why we're going down this path. Now, are you? Do you feel confident just with the structure that we've laid out? Do you feel confident that this is something that you can do without getting more specific for this week?
I do. Yeah,
you can. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Obviously, the one pitfall that anybody who's 350 pounds is going to experience trying to get to 250 or 220 or whatever the final weight is going to be emotional eating. You just talked about it at the beginning about how you're going through difficult times in life, going through stress at work, wherever, you end up having a desire to be able to circumvent that somehow. And your brain, naturally, your brain, to avoid pain, is going to seek out pleasure. And that pleasure is going to come from food in your case. So that's been a habit that's been ingrained now for the majority of your life. So when you get into those difficult moments, do you have a strategy? Is there something that you can do when that trigger hits? Because you have to create space between the temptation to do something, because you could easily just shut everything off at that point. You're tempted to go to a fast food restaurant to get what you'd normally eat, and you could just forget about everything, forget about your game plan, forget about our meetings, forget about your commitment, forget about your lifespan, forget about your quality of health, and just go for it. But if you can create some space between the temptation to go down that path and your behavior and what it is that you do next, you might be able to catch yourself. Are you able to pause at that point in time if you get that temptation, instead of blocking everything out and just going straight for the drive-through window? Are you able to just say stop, tell yourself, look, I have something greater that I want to accomplish, and I need to do something different now with my time as opposed to what I've always done anytime that I'm feeling this level of stress in my life?
there's two things that make me feel more confident right now, that I can keep that under much more control. And the easy one, I guess the easy one is the plan, and just actually putting thought into and effort into weekly, meal planning and just having things ready to go and packing lunches and preparing breakfast and everything like that, because I'm usually just on the go, spontaneous with meals quite often. In my schedule, I'm traveling a bunch at night for things and even work related things. So the morning I'll grab something, the night I'll grab something. Well, here I'll take care of the groceries in the weekend and get these meals laid out, and that'll be one big part of the strategy. And hopefully try to make it real easy on myself so that it's just bagged up and ready to go. And the other thing that really makes a big difference for me mentally, that will is just the mental and emotional well-being. I mean, that's what will carry me, because if I could pack those lunches and do all those things and carry out those motions, but if I'm having I'm just an overwhelming amount of stress, um, or if I'm not in the right mindset, then you throw that all out the window. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna revert to those bad habits because I'm needing that comfort. So that's one thing that I think you've instilled a ton of confidence in me, that I'm at the mental place that I need to be right now, where with this plan, I'm ready to say, no, I don't need that. I don't need to stop by the drive-through. I've got this plan. I'm going to put these groceries in the cart. I'm going to set those meals aside, and I don't need to stop at the place, the drive-through once or twice a day. I don't need to do that. I've got the meals right here. I don't even feel the urge that I would if I was in, even if somebody wants to hit me with something that's stressful, I'm not going to be overwhelmed, in large part because of the conversations you and I have had. I'm in a different mind frame, and I'm ready to go. I'm just ready to attack it. I'm on the offense. I'm not on the defense. So I have a lot more confidence than I had even 6 months ago. I'm ready to go. I'm back to where I need to be.
I also believe that as you gain momentum and you start seeing results and that scale starts to drop, I think that if you do encounter some stressful situations in your life, the results are going to fuel you forward. Obviously, meeting and having the accountability that you have with me and with YouTube, that's going to be a huge benefit in keeping you focused. But on top of that, I think that as you start seeing your body change and you start feeling lighter, feeling better, looking better, you're not going to want to stop. You're not going to want to ever be back here again. Um, I think before, in the past, when you have lost weight and gained it back, there was no accountability. You didn't have to show up somewhere every week. You didn't have to bare your soul as to whether it was a good or bad week. You didn't have to show what that scale said, because every single week you're going to step on that scale and send me a picture. We're going to post it on the video. So we're going to know exactly what happened that week. If we have to make adjustments, we will. But the goal being, like, we're taking this extreme approach. The whole reason for that, and I think you made a wise choice by deciding I want to go for as much as I can early on, because momentum, once you get that snowball rolling, you're not going to want it to stop. It's going to fuel you. At that point in time, when you start seeing that happen, it's like, wow, I'm actually taking control of my life. And at that point in time, I don't think anything can stop you. I really don't. I think we've constructed a platform for this to finally happen, and I'm extremely excited about it. The only other variable I want to discuss with you before we go is cardio. It helps. It really does. I don't care about weight training. I know that's something we can talk about when you're below 250 pounds. What I want you to focus on is being able to burn extra calories. Cardio has an impact in the body when it comes to it's I'm not a biochemist, but I know full well that there's a huge difference in my body fat level when I do cardio and when I don't do cardio. I mean, and it's that simple. It works. And when it's consistent, I mean, it really has a tremendous impact on how much body fat that you're going to end up burning. Without it and this diet, you'll still lose weight. There's no doubt about it. There's just no stopping you as far as weight loss is concerned, but you will lose it significantly faster if you're able to do cardio. Are you able to do anything in relation to cardio? And if so, how much? I just want you to get your heart rate up. I don't care what it is you do. I just want it to be sustained for a minimum 20 minutes, preferably 30 minutes, but 20 minutes I'll take for sure. If that's all you can offer, however many days a week that you can do it. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I haven't been doing any, if I'm going to do it at all, I'm going to work up a sweat. So 20 is the same as 30 to me. So I might as well do the 30.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not opposed to it, but I like the sales approach. You know, I like to be sold. So tell me how much 30 minutes is going to help me. What's the difference?
How often are you willing to do it?
Am I going to get an extra pound a week by doing cardio? How many days a week? You know what I'm saying? What's this going to do?
How many days a week?
Help me quantify how much good am I getting out of this?
Okay.
This extra cardio. One 30-minute session, 2 30-minute sessions. What am I doing here?
Okay, well, I would say minimum 3. And if you do 3 sessions, I'd like 5. Okay, I'm going to start with 5. See if I can get that out of you. If you can give me 5, I think that you will end up losing an extra 2 to 3 pounds a week.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Extra.
I really do.
Okay.
Yeah, extra on top of whatever you lose without it.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate. No, I'm this guy. So.
Yes, I know exactly who you are.
So let's just say, for instance, week 1, I did diet only and I dropped 3 pounds. 2 pounds. 2 pounds. Okay. Let's say 2 pounds. All right. I did only diet. You're telling me if I did 5 days of cardio, I'm going to drop 4 or 5 pounds.
Right. And I will not promise you consistent every week. It's going to be like clockwork if you drop, because in the first week, you're going from limitless carbs to limited, barely any carbs. Your body's going to lose a lot of water weight in the beginning. Okay. So there's going to be that in that week. Like you could end up losing 10 pounds. You could literally, I'm not saying you would, don't quote me on that, but it can happen. You definitely can lose 10 plus pounds of water weight in 1 week when you're that 350 pounds when you start a low carb diet. But that's not all fat. It's mostly water. You know, and you could get misled into thinking, oh, I lost 10 pounds this week. So next week I'll do cardio and I'll lose 12 pounds, 13 pounds. And then you do the cardio and you only lose 5 or 4. It's like, what the hell? And normally you would have lost 2 if you didn't do the cardio, but the cardio allowed you to lose 4 or 5. So it's because that first week is going to be very misleading and you can't extrapolate from that what's going to happen for the other weeks. You have to just know that in the beginning of a low carb diet, you lose a lot of water weight and then it starts to normalize. And then each week thereafter, you will lose weight and you will consistently lose weight, but it's not going to be like that initial 5 to 10 day period where, especially that first week, where you end up shedding a lot of water weight. So you definitely want to temper your expectations and don't take that first week as a sign of what you can expect to happen every week thereafter. But I will say, yes, let's say the second week you would lose 2 pounds. You lose 2 pounds the next week with no exercise. If you had exercised, you probably would have lost 4, maybe 5. So there is a big difference. You could double your results with cardio. You could double or even more than double the amount of weight loss if you do the cardio consistently, because your body you're carrying around 350 pounds.
All right.
It has to work really hard to do that. If you just did rigorous walking, just brisk walking on a treadmill or outside, and you just, try to keep a good, healthy pace, walking, not jogging, get your heart rate up. You'll sweat, you'll breathe heavy, and you'll burn calories, and you'll start training your body to use more fat for energy.
All right. The concept is amazing. I'm down with the concept. My lazy side, which we obviously need to gather, anybody would gather, well that I have, says, based on what you're saying, I'm going to do better in the first week anyway, statistically. So I should probably wait till week 2 before I go. Talk me out of waiting until week 2. Can you talk me out of that?
No, I can't. I
Okay.
can't.
All
You're
right.
right. You're right. I would love it. I would love it for you if week 1, due to water weight loss, is a great week. I would love for the motivation to be next week. I want to try and match it. So I'm going to do my cardio, and I'm going to do whatever I possibly can to get as close to that number as is possible, given my frame and given my metabolism. And so if that's going to motivate you to do the cardio, I'd rather you skip it the first week and do it the second week.
That works for me.
Yeah. Also, because you start them both at the same time, it's just more to take on. If you could just, the diet's overwhelmingly more difficult than exercise. But when you do them both, it can become insurmountable at the same time, at the exact same time. But if you wait and you end up doing the exercise portion later, it can make a world of difference. So in terms of being able, it become easier, especially you get adjusted to the diet in the first week or so. You're like, okay, now I can do the walks now because I feel like I can follow the diet, and I know it just doesn't feel just daunting for me because I've actually done something, and I'm able to take advantage now of the exercise component and focus on that because I got the diet under control. So I think for the first week, we focus on exactly the diet that we discussed, and the 50 grams or less of carbs, the 40 grams of protein a meal, and the rest of the calories coming from fat.
I like it. It does.
Does that sound good? All right, brother. What we're going to do is we're going to meet next week, and you're going to give me an update. You're going to give me a weigh-in. You're going to give me a picture of the scale. And if you need anything in between that time, just let me know. We can always set up another video chat. Doesn't have to be long. It can be just something quick. If you need anything at all, just let me know. Otherwise, it's going to be once a week. And you're going to check in, and you're going to give me exactly what happened that week. You're going to tell me how it went. We're going to look at the weight loss. We're going to look at what you did, what you could have done better. If you want to make any changes, you suggest them to me, what was too difficult, what didn't seem realistic, and we'll just go ahead and tailor it week to week until it's exactly what's necessary to work for you, because this is your weight loss plan. Nobody else's. This belongs to you. This is what you're going to follow. This is what's going to get you to the promised land. And, we need to formulate that as we go along. And this is a great starting point. I'm very, very happy that you've embraced such a radical change right from the beginning. That's just a great sign.
Appreciate your help, man. You've gotten me to the point where I'm mentally prepared. I'm so convinced that's it. That's the biggest part of it. I believe it in my heart already. I couldn't even face this.
I can tell you. I
couldn't face this. I couldn't even think about it. Yeah.
You're here, brother. You're here. You're here. You put your face on YouTube. You've put everything on YouTube for everyone to see. You've literally put everything on the line because deep down you want this to work. You really do. And you've been your own worst enemy throughout this entire 30 plus years. And now it's time to get out of your own way. And you're doing it. And you're actually seizing control of your life by being here every single week and making a commitment to follow a plan that's going to get you to where you need to be. And that's so important that you've actually made that commitment, and that you're here, and that you've made a commitment to be back here on a consistent basis. So I'm really proud of you. I really am. I mean, it just warms my heart to know that we've known each other as long as we have, and that we've stuck together for decades. I mean, how many people can say they've been close friends with someone for that long? It's very, very rare. And I love you like a brother, and I want this to work, and I know it's going to work. I know the reason I know it's going to work is because we have each other. You're not doing this alone. And the fact that I'm going to be there to be able to offer the support and the guidance and everything that's necessary. And you are going to be there to be the recipient of it all and do what's necessary to get to your goal. And
You're the only one I trust, dude.
I really am, brother.
That can get me here, dude. I know this. I know this.
Well, we're gonna get you there, man. So everybody below, if you have anything that if you've lost weight, or if you're somebody who's in the same situation as Jeff, who needs to lose a significant amount of weight and having a difficult time, just comment below and just give him some moral support, because every little bit helps. I mean, just hearing from other people can be motivational. People that are in the same situation, people that are struggling with the same issues, people that have the same goals. It's just that community can help to uplift someone as they finally take that path to achieving everything that they've always wanted. So I just know that by us convening here every week, you're going to get there. So I'm proud of you, man. And well, 1 week from now, we're going to know how that first week went.
All right.
And we'll just go from
there. The numbers got to improve. Got to get better.
All right, man.
Love you too. Thank you.
I love you, bro.
All right.
See you next week. It's perfectly fine to have that as a driving force. And I think we all do. I think that's, you there, brother?
I'm back.
I have no idea what I was saying, but you're going to be a motivational force, an inspirational force for millions of people.
If you keep showing up in that shirt, I think you're going to be a motivational force as well. You're looking good.
Something happens in the middle of the week and you just want to get on, just let me know.
I'm pulling through the drive-thru at the Arby's on Wednesday afternoon. Hey, bro, just wanted you to see I'm hitting a roast beef sandwich right now. I'm invincible with you by my side, dude.
Commitment that you bring, and I can see it in your face.
Got me here, dude.
I can hear it in your voice.
Got me here.
It's legit, man. It's
you
real.
You did it.
It seemed like an insurmountable task to get to this point.